What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Today, I'm going to show you the ins and outs of how to install or how to wrap with cosmetic paint protection film. Color that we're using today on this Audi RS5 is called Shark Blue. It's from Vivid Vinyl, and it's their Color Fusion series of material. It's full-blown paint protection film, but can be installed wet or dry. This is all I've been doing lately over the past 2 years. It'll be 2 years this November since it's the last time that I've done a regular vinyl wrap, which has been a long time, right? So you can see what the demand is. Why not? Because it's so much glossier when it comes to gloss finishes, it self-heals from scratches and so forth. Now, again, I'm gonna show you the ins and the outs, the tips and the tricks on how to install this properly. This hood is actually massive. It's like, I cut the length at 80 inches and that's a long piece. And front to back, it's very close to 60. I think it's like, probably like 58-ish. So if it was any longer, I could stretch the material, but it's going to cause somewhat of an issue with the installation because I won't be able to anchor the film to the front bumper, which is what I would normally do when I have extra material. Not so much of a problem, but somewhat of a problem because I still can anchor to the lights because I have plenty of extra material. I should be able to anchor to the lights. We want to generally anchor the material to the exterior side so that we don't get pull lines, stress lines, adhesion lines, and so forth. Anchoring the material to the outside and pulling it tight makes it so that we don't get those lines, and then we can just squeegee away once we have it more or less glassed out. I prefer to glass the material out. Some people just prefer to keep it more relaxed. It's really up to you. You will find that a lot of times it does take a bit more patience and time if you don't glass it out. So because you're going to be dealing with fingers at the edges and so forth. I'll try to point those out if we do end up having any. But this is going to be like a 2-ish part video. It's going to all be done in one, but I'm going to have to come back to it because we're doing a wet installation versus a dry installation. And a wet installation is much more efficient and effective when it comes to these large flat panels. Dry installation is fantastic for like the door handle, for example, which I did on the driver's side dry. Nice and easy, makes it so that it comes out really good and really quick. Now that's not good on large flat surfaces because it tends to leave a lot of adhesion lines or adhesive lines or glue lines, and we don't want any of those. And again, guys, if you're looking for more in-depth videos, check out my website in the top corner, ckwraps.com. It'll be there for you. Also in the description below. And if you want something a bit more easygoing, I also have a members only area on YouTube where I've taken my videos from my website and uploaded them to YouTube, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I'm still continuing to upload more videos. But again, if you want more access to me, then my website has the open forum discussion board where you can actually ask me questions, post pictures and so forth. And I reply to them every single day. Let's get into this. So I've prepped the panel with isopropyl alcohol. I clay barred the car. I believe this hood was ceramic coated because the water still beats relentlessly. And that's a good ceramic coating if it can be clay barred and the water still beats relentlessly. So the job was done well. Now that's gonna cause, again, somewhat of an issue, but not a huge issue. And it hasn't been an issue with the rest of the vehicle so far. Driver's side's pretty much done. Trunk's pretty much done. I'm just waiting for it to dry and just have some of the passenger side to do in the front bumper, front and rear bumper. That's it. So let's finish up our prep for the hood. Now, there are some stone chips. There's a big stone chip right there. I can feel that one. There's another one just below it. It's an Audi. It's a mass production vehicle. It is a nicer version of Audi's, but it's going to have imperfections in it. I did notice imperfections in the paint. It is pretty good though. There is still a lot of orange peel in the paint as well. I will bring the camera in to show you that so you can see the texture and the reflection of what the lighting looks like and the ceiling and so forth, that it isn't perfectly glass, okay? If it was glass, then the material would look better on it. But because there is texture already there on the surface, the material can only look so good. If we put the material on glass, it looks almost like glass. It's not quite that clean, but it's almost like glass because this does have an air egress pattern in it. So there is a slight bit of texture to it. Other than that, it's still gonna look good. It looks much better than any vinyl wrap on the market other than like the high gloss series and stuff like that. But the benefit of this is that it's paint protection film so that it's more resilient to stone chipping. It is self-healing from swirl marks and scratches. And overall, the gloss and the clarity of the material is much better. Let me turn that off for a second. Let's pause that for a second. Sorry for the interruption. I'm not sure where I was, but I had to take that phone call. Now, we're gonna get into this right now. We're gonna prep the surface with some slip solution. I put that right here. And what we wanna do is we wanna squeegee the surface off. Now, this is more of a thing that you would do with clear PPF, but I like to be as thorough as possible. So again, it's wiped with isopropyl alcohol. I believe there's a ceramic coating on the surface, and the vehicle has been clay barred, and there are some imperfections in the paint. So you might notice a few things. Let's pump this up a little bit. If you guys are looking for stuff like this, it's on Amazon. I put links in the description below as well for all the tools you need. So let's spray this down. So you can see the water beading, oh yeah, this had a front end PPF. So you can actually see where the water's beading here a lot better versus here where the PPF was. You can see the line. That should show up in camera. Big difference. So yeah, it's not wax on the surface because I have wiped it down with isopropyl alcohol. I washed the car with dish soap, and again, it's been clay barred. And again, massive difference between here and there, and it had just a partial front end PPF. So what we want to do is we're going to take our squeegee off the surface. This is going to remove lint, fibers, whatever that might have been left behind from the microfiber cloth. Again, this is a bit more particular with clear PPF because fibers do show, while with color PPF, it's more forgiving. You don't have to be as anal about it because fibers, they don't generally protrude through the material unless it's like a hair follicle or something that's coarse. So don't worry about necessarily doing this. You can get away without it. Again, I just like to be thorough. It takes that took like a minute, not even, to prep the surface. Now I have my piece already cut. I'm gonna go prep the adhesive side of that, and then we're gonna pop that on the hood. The adhesive side of my 80-inch piece of material is prepped with slip solution. We're gonna slip this panel again, the hood, and then we're gonna bring the piece over. All right. So you can either remove the release liner first or leave it on when you do this. Make sure everything is super clean. I'm going to leave the release liner on just for the sake of it. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to transport it, but you can transport it with the adhesive off, the release liner off as well. And we're going to move this up into position. Now you see how it's kind of dragging across the front bumper and stuff like that? We want to make sure the front bumper is super clean. Everything is super clean because otherwise we would drag debris up towards and into the hood. Okay, so this is at the very back corner right there. I've got, like an inch, okay, at the front. Not much. This is not even at the back corner yet, so let's check it. Should be about the same though. Yeah, we're talking not even a half an inch. Okay, so we're gonna remove the release liner and we're gonna reposition this anyways. You wanna make sure both sides are wet when you do this because you want the material to slip and slide. Now, removing the liner is tricky, and luckily, I don't know what Audi did with this car, but they made this car pretty much all steel. So not as light as aluminum, but a lot more durable, and you can actually use the magnets. So again, here's an issue sort of with removing the liner. It's okay as long as we don't crease the material hard. And what I can do is I can use a magnet on this side as well. If I couldn't use magnets, what I would have just done is I would have just tacked the corners. Okay, we're up high, that's okay. We're gonna come back down. And let's get this massive piece of release liner out of the way. Let's bring the material back down. Okay, back to about that not even a half an inch, like a quarter inch or so. I'm gonna stretch slightly towards the back. I have enough material at the headlights to be able to anchor there. And we're gonna cut away the back section here. Okay, because we don't need all this. And it's actually sitting on the window, which is causing a bit of a problem. It's causing the material to pocket in the middle, like at the hood. And it's causing it to bunch up. I guess that sort of means that it's just causing it to bunch up. All right, let's move that out of the way, that scrap piece. Now we'll be able to pull the material flatter and a little tighter because we've removed that section by the window. Okay, so what I can do now is I can take my magnet, I can anchor to the fender. I'm short here on the front, I do have to come back down. Now, personally, if I have to do any stretching, I want to stretch from the front to the back corners. I don't want to stretch down towards the front. This is a big, wide section to stretch down to. I don't want to do that. I'd rather anchor here and stretch this way. It's going to be much easier. So let's slide this back down so we have enough at the front. And if I have to stretch a ½ an inch to the back, no big deal. Not worried about it. All right. Okay, so we're about 1 inch short on that side. Let's move this down on this side over here. Let's do about the same. And that will give us a tiny bit more in the front, okay? Again, it's much easier to stretch towards these back corners over here. Okay, what am I gonna do now? I'm gonna anchor to the headlights. There's a little trick or cheat if this doesn't work. So I have tack solution here. This is just isopropyl alcohol, tiny bit mixed with distilled water. And we're gonna take this, flip the material up and anchor to the exterior side. So in this case, you see how I fold that back? In this case, we're gonna anchor to the light. I don't wanna spray this underneath the actual material where the hood is. I wanna only spray it where I wanna anchor on the exterior side of things. Okay, let's go over here. I should be able to pull across. Nope, came off, okay? Not a big deal, let's put it back. And this is where it can get a little tricky, okay? This came forward too much, so we're gonna push that back a bit. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna show you a little trick. And you have to be careful when you do this, but if you take a cloth, because we're cutting off the exterior side, and you dry off this section of the film and that section of the film and also the panel itself, like the headlight in this case, the film will tack better. But again, make sure you're controlling where you're wiping. I don't want lint and fibers to get into this section of the hood. As far as static goes, there shouldn't be very much static. Here's the edge of the hood, right? So you can see that I'm about 3 inches beyond that, 3-4 inches beyond that still. Okay, and we wanna make sure that it's not like moist or there's no moisture there because it will tack a lot better. And you can do this anywhere you want on the exterior side. You just can't do this. Do not wipe with your cloth on the interior side of the panel that you're wrapping because it will leave fibers behind. Okay, so for example, this is gonna stick already, should, much better. May not have been dry yet, not dry enough yet. And again, if I want to accelerate that, all I'll do is take a heat gun and dry off some of that moisture. Just lift that up. It's sticking a bit, but so let's dry off the light. Let's get back on this side over here. This is just something that I do. You don't have to do this. Some of you guys who are in the industry are probably like, oh man, don't do that. But this is not clear PPF and I'm not gonna get any fibers underneath it. So I'm not stressed out about it. Okay, all I'm trying to do here is get the material to tack so I can get it to hold and pull it. And again, all creases and stuff, who cares? Doesn't matter. So let's do the same thing on the other side and see if we can get that pulled tight. Okay, it's starting to tack in the middle, so I'm going to put some slip underneath because I want the material to slide better. Cool, that should be better. Let's see. Oh yeah, so now we can get a little bit of pull on this. We'll go back and forth with this, we'll fix that up. Okay, so again, what we're gonna do on this side is we're going to wipe off the adhesive side and the headlight and let that dry or dry it with the heat gun. This way we can get the material to tack really nicely. If it's totally dry, it'll tack right away. And again, because we're cutting this section off, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm trying to get the material pulled tight. It's not great, not bad. We will have to tack it here at some point. So I'm gonna see if that's holding, somewhat holding. It's not holding great. I only have a small spot over here where it is holding. So let's lift that up again. Let's dry it some more and make sure that we can get a larger area to tack. Okay, so something like that. That's a better pull. Okay, lots of contact here right now, tons of it. So that's all good. We'll probably go back to the other side and do the same thing again, pulling tight, because we want to make sure that we don't have any loose material in the front section right here. Now, do I have to heat it again? Probably not. Okay, so see that? That's what we want right there. Okay, the material's starting to slide forward because it's not anchored very well at the top. That's okay. Now I have a little bit more there, but that's okay. We're gonna now pull to the top corners. I'm about, this side here, I'm about 1 inch short. That side there, I'm about 1.5 inches short. It's not a huge difference. So we're gonna do the same thing again over here. But we're gonna pull and counteract these wrinkles. Actually, let's zoom the camera in so you can see better. Okay, so we're gonna pull towards this part of the hood, okay? See that? That's what we want to happen, okay? Now, what I'm looking for is a nice tight area here and also throughout the middle. So we want this bunching, this big finger right here to go away. Again, it's very important that this stays tacked down. If that lifts, it's over. So I'm gonna get tack solution ready in case I can just use tack. It's phone call mania today. That one I can call back. Okay. So I'm gonna take my tack solution and heavily load it up at the corner here. All over the place. There we go. Keep our squeegee handy and ready. And we're gonna pull the material nice and tight. Good. Now what we wanna do is we wanna anchor, again, more towards the exterior side if possible. I ended up anchoring it a little bit to the quarter panel, sorry, the hood there. That's okay. Okay, that seems to be holding really nicely. That came undone. Sorry, that got loose there. So we're gonna go to the other side and we're gonna pull that tight and then we're gonna come back to this. This moved up a little bit. I expect it to move up a little bit more when I do this corner here, but hopefully it doesn't move up too much, okay? Okay, so again, what I'm looking for is nice tight area here, tight throughout the middle. So load it up with tack. Get your squeegee ready. Pull the material nice and tight. And that probably slid up at the front. There's no question in my mind about it. Tack all that down right there. Okay, we're still good. We have enough at the front. This could just be pulled tighter. We're gonna fix that though. Again, is that lifting? It's almost lifting. Okay, so that's not good. We don't want that to lift. Almost lifted. Okay. These wrinkles, I still want to pull them back to that corner there. This I need to pull out. I'm probably gonna pull it out to this corner over here. So let's go There we go, like that. Again, just smush all that down. This does not matter what it looks like. It's getting cut off. Okay, it sounds like it's popping up a bit. I just want to make sure that we've got good contact there. Okay, that's not bad. If I push on the material and bring it forward, we can get all of those fingers gone. I do want to fix up still these corners over here. Now my question here, so if I could have anchored this to the bumper, this would have held this in place while I pulled back to the corners at the back on each side. And then I wouldn't have had this sliding up gradually. But it makes sense though, when I'm pulling to this corner over here and that corner over there, the middle is going to come up even if the headlight area is anchored. Okay, so little tricky when it comes to doing this. Again, this is like borderline too big of a hood to wrap with one sheet. I'm just gonna trim some of this away to create some relief. It's just kind of not great there. Now when I lift the material up, I want to slip it again. It's been sitting here for a while, so we do want to make sure that the material is fully slipped where it needs to have slip solution, which is all obviously all in the inside area. This is the hardest part, I guess, of doing this. Okay, so let's lift that up. Slip all the middle and everything. There we go. Beautiful. We're gonna see how hard I need to pull this. Something like that. Still coming up at the front. I don't want it to come too high. Remember what I said. So in that case, I might need to anchor it to the hood. I could get a lift line. I might not. I may or may not. We'll see. And also, if you have an extra set of hands, it helps to spread the material out. Okay, so that's where I want it. So it would be nice to have someone to like pull the material tight while someone squeegeed, right? Again, when you're doing this alone, you're limited to certain things. Okay, so we're going to anchor all that. As long as that stays, this is pretty tight. Not staying. Okay, I didn't bring my slips or tack solution over. It's over here. I can probably hold it with a magnet in this situation here, which is again not normal, but nice to have when you can. Let's put a little slip on the surface so my squeegee doesn't get stuck on the material. Pull that tight again. Still slipping. Pull that tight again. Again, it's trying to find balance. That has to come around like that, so that's what I want. And you can see the material stretches somewhat freely. It's hard to stretch it, but it stretches easily in room temperature. So you can only stretch it so far when it comes to PPF. It's a lot more limiting. Adding a heat gun is not a great decision, and this is now short, okay? So we're gonna have to do something different about this now. What I'm going to do is I've never done this hood before, so by the way, in PPF. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna anchor the front, and then we're gonna deal with the rest. And if I get an adhesive line, which I shouldn't, but you never know, then I'll deal with that. So I'm gonna push on the material, bring it down, and get that. See the pressure that I'm using? Very, very important. Get that tacked in, locked in. Okay, should hold. I have enough, just enough to wrap around, so I'm okay with that as long as it stays in place. Let's go back again to this corner over here. This is the battle, right? It's okay. This is what happens, what it takes. If they made this in 72 inches, which they probably never will, because I don't know any color change material in the world, even vinyl wrap that's 72 inches after all these years. So with clear PPF, yes, they make it 72 inches. Now, if this was really problematic, what I would do is I would just use a seam on the body line. And there's a really nice body line actually, right here. Okay, so I'm gonna hold that. The less fingers we have to deal with at the edges, the easier it is in the end, guys. Like, that's just how it goes. So avoiding as much of this, like there's some fingers there, it's minor, but avoiding as much of that as possible is ideal. You'll see more on this side when I do it. So the other side over here, when I pull, I need to counteract all these fingers. Let's bring over both bottles. It's good to see me struggle a little bit, right? Not everything is super easy. Again, I'm just double checking the front, making sure we're good. Okay, let's get this up. We're gonna slip it again. What's annoying about this is that the hood wraps around the pillar. It's kind of just even more annoying. Okay, so again, you can see already when I pull the material flat towards me that all the middle goes nice and tight and nice and flat. So that's what we want. I'll tack over here. It's just getting the material to hold in place. Slip the surface again while we do this, okay? So it's, because you only have two hands, it can be tricky. Okay, that's not enough over there. Okay, I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna put a magnet there to hold it, but I don't think that we're okay in the middle here. Because you can see if I push this way, it's snapping back. If I push that way, we're running into slack on the inside. We don't want that. So I'm gonna go, this pulled back for whatever reason again. Let's try again. Get this tacked into place. I'm gonna have to get some more tack solution in a second. There we go. So I feel better about that. If your squeegee, if your first pass is not hard enough when you're using tack solution, it's going to cause the material to not bite or grab properly. Okay, it's still staying. It's okay. Okay, let's anchor a bit more there. Why not? And then I've got that side on the fender done as well. So we're gonna go back to the other side. I'm gonna pull harder the other way. The reason why I can't pull any harder on this side here is because I didn't cut my material too short, but after the stretching, it's getting kind of close to like missing the corner. So slip the surface, some more pressure in here, pull back again this way, and try to keep that tight at the same time. I haven't even, like, once this is set up, it's easy squeegeeing. It's just getting this part done. This is the hardest part. Okay, so I'm watching the middle-ish. want to see what's going on there. Yeah, if I pull there, we should be okay. If I can maintain the tension here. Okay, let's pull some of those flat. There we go. Okay, that's looking a lot better in the middle. Okay, don't want to let go just yet. I want to give that a second. I mean, I'm trying, but I'm not even sweating yet. Okay, let's see if we can get that to stay there. Okay, and if I pull towards the middle now, is it going to be enough? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so we're good. Okay, let's start squeegeeing out the middle now. As long as the front stayed in place, we're good. It's not way too long for this. Now, because I locked in the front, I'm going to squeegee towards the back. So pulling the material tight. There's a recess here, that's okay. Let's go to the other side, do the same thing. It's gonna be some left-handed squeegee, but I have fingers here. And if I just add a bit of tension pulling back, there we go. Those go away. I'm gonna go more from the middle, I think. Tricky part is my hands are slipping on it. So I'm gonna grab the cloth and hold here. That's better. Okay. Again, this is all getting cut off at the back. And if this was clear, yeah, it'd be way harder, but I could buy it 72-inch clear. You wouldn't be able to use the cloth doing this with clear. Okay, let's keep that tight. Okay, so we've got a left-handed squeegee action. Okay, let that go, it's okay. That's nothing to deal with at the back there, I'm okay with that. This shifted, that's okay, we'll end up pulling that down a bit. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this big pocket right here, use our hand, push in, get that to suction, and then start squeegeeing all of this down. You can hear the fluid. See all that fluid coming out of there? Always make sure your surface is wet, okay? If it starts to dry, put a little more slip on it. Okay, some of this I'm gonna come up with. Let's lock that back section in over there. Good, we still have a pocket right here. You can see the bubble, there we go. See if I can get that to lock in right now. Oh, keeps coming back. A little hot water can work as well if you wanted to rush things. Don't need to, because we'll get it. Let's go this side over here. Let's just go forward with it. There we go. Okay, take my palm of my hand. I have to pull that slightly tight. This way when it locks in, it's not going to finger. That's okay. Once I get majority of the fluid squeegeed out of here, we're home free. We're just going to chill, let the edges dry, and deal with the rest, the edges afterwards. And this is not a big problem. That's one finger. I can pull it just a bit this way. I'm probably not going to deal with that now, but just pull that back a bit that way, and then this will come out. I'm gonna need some tack solution there, but just to kind of show you the direction on how I would pull that. It's gonna come back, yep. Need some tack solution over there, that's okay. Again, the less finger you have to deal with the edges, the easier it is. Okay. Okay, let's get some tack solution on the edges. Like here, so we can get that to lock in. Okay, let's get a little more slip on the surface. And let's pull that tight. There. I want to take that pocket, since it's locked at the bottom here, and come up with it. Okay, let's fix that. Okay, that side's down over here. Let's go over to this side, get some tack in here. Just going over the middle, making sure I didn't leave any fluid behind. The time to get it is now as opposed to later. Keep a cloth with you so you can dry things off as you go. You can hear that. Okay. I'm gonna just double check this side as well. I don't hear any bubbles on this side. Okay. Let's get under here. Okay, it's holding well. Let's get this done here. Let's just open that up. There we go. There was nowhere for the air or the fluid to escape. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get the back area to tack. Because I don't want to leave that like that. There's a bubble there. Okay, let's get a little more slip solution on there so my squeegee doesn't get stuck. And just bring that back. Okay, you see how I hold it while I do the rest of the squeegeeing. Just making sure I didn't leave anything behind. And that should help keep it in place. All right. All right, we're not done yet. So let's get that fixed up. Still have a pocket in here. It's not going down yet. It's okay. I could use heat. You can hear it. You can hear it beginning to stick. Could use heat. I don't really want to use heat. You can't use heat with clear PPF. So I always kind of like envision that, you know, this is like doing clear PPF, even though you can kind of cheat a little bit. Well, you can do use different techniques. That pocket's coming out finally. Okay. Let's get that all the way to the top. Okay, so that all just went away. Oh, came back. It's very close. You can hear that bubble that just came out. Let's make it right to the end. Okay, that's much better now. Okay, that's good there. Let's try the other side. There's a bubble at the back, but that's okay. It's a lot smaller than it was a minute ago. Right now, this bubble or air pocket comes all the way down. Okay, so it's still open at the bottom here. That's why it's not sealing. So let's get some more tack in the bottom. Let's see if we can get that to seal up. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to load tack in from the top. Running out the front, yep, there it goes. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do this again. Let's make sure that stays tight. Okay, we're gonna take this, seal up the front. Okay, that should stay sealed. And you can see me combing through with my hand first. Oh, that's beautiful. There we go. There's a big pocket of air or bubble right there. I just heard it. Okay, that went down really nicely. It's almost perfect. We got a bit more fluid right here. Okay. I'm just double checking it, because areas like this and over ridges and edges, you're likely to leave fluid behind, okay? Let's go over this side, because when I pushed in here, it could have pushed fluid over, and it did. I see a bubble right in front of me. Okay. Now I have an air pocket right from here to here, all the way through though, to the front. We're good to go. Same thing on the other side, it's about the same. We're gonna take this section here, we're gonna tack it. I'm gonna pull that tight. Okay, get a little slip on the surface. And then push nice and hard. That should help with that situation there. We still have that to deal with. Worst case, I let it dry a bit more, because again, it's color. It's not really going to show glue lines as much as clear, and on top of that, they dissipate way better. They become like next to invisible. Okay, so let's just hold that for a moment. And I'm just combing through it, having a look. Hard to tell without drying it off if there's fluid underneath or if it's just fluid on top. Looks like it's holding for now. Let's do the same thing over here. Let's check this section out though. Look, there's a pocket, or maybe not, could be wrong. Yep, you hear that? And bring that up and over that edge. You gotta be careful with those edges. You can hear them squeaking through. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Oh, there was a bubble there. Just caught it. This is stuff that we don't want to have to deal with when the material dries, right? Like, you really don't want to deal with any of that. Because when it dries, it makes it infinitely more difficult to get out. Another one right there. Lots of lighting and keeping your eyes peeled helps. Okay, so this should go. As soon as I get to about this point right here, even that over there, I just come back later, man. We don't want to sit here and waste our time. But we do want it like considerably very close to the edge. Because we don't, if we do get adhesive lines, we do want them closer to the edge. I'm not sure if this corner is even in the camera. Kind of is. Yeah, it's okay, I think. So same thing we did on the other side. Fill that up a bit. While I hold, I just look through. Make sure that other areas are good. Okay, can probably let go of that. All right, much better than it was. Let's get rid of this magnet. You can see, like, maybe you can't see, but because the hood comes behind the pillar's in the friggin' way, which is obnoxious, to say the least. It's just obnoxious. It's just part of this hood. Yeah, load that up with tack solution. Let's get our slit. It's on this side. Want to get that pocket down once and for all. Want to work with me. Let's get my thumb in there. There we go. Create that suction. Squeegee wasn't the right shape for it. See, I just followed through with my thumb first. We'll hold. And then scope out the rest of it while we're here. Again, looking for any small bubbles we might have left behind. Going through the middle again, because why not? All right, that's holding really nicely. Probably didn't think it was gonna happen, huh? So again, if I was to do this, I would have just seamed it on this body line right here. It's ideal. It would have been perfect. If I couldn't do this, in one sheet. And if you know about my invisible seam, you could use that, which looks even better than a standard seam. Let's get some tack in there. let's push through. There we go. Let's comb through here also while we're here. Since I have a lot of fluid on the surface, I can't, again, tell what's a bubble and what's not. Come around this side again. There's honestly nothing fun about this hood, other than just getting it done. Okay, that's not tension, it's relaxed. It's just excess material right now. I'll deal with that in a moment. This bubble came back again on this side. Kind of annoyed by that. But that's part of it. I see, since I'm here, I see a bubble right there. It seems like they appear out of nowhere, but they're just there. You just can't see them, because you have fluid on the surface. Okay, so let's do this one again. Okay, I'm going to trim some of this away because it's starting to really annoy me. I just didn't want to trim too soon in case I needed the extra materials, like maneuver the piece around or whatever. Okay, I'm just going to pull this back. There's no tension back here anymore. See how the material's relaxed? So because I pulled back here, again, we want to make sure that we don't have any tension at our edge. Okay. Not all wraps are easy, right? Not all hood wraps, at least. This is, I mean, even with vinyl wrap, it's kind of a hard hood, I guess. It's not the hardest, that's for sure. It's just the size. The size of this is really what changes a lot for the installation, okay? Okay, that edge is relaxed. Okay, that can stay. This, I want that to be better before I leave it, because that's not good to dry like that. It's gonna look ugly, so you're gonna leave lines there for sure. So far we're good, because it's still slightly wet. Let's see if I can get that to stay. Just be patient. But what I want to do next is I'm gonna start drying this off a little bit, because I want to make sure that I haven't left anything on the interior side as far as droplets go, or fluid goes. That's all good. That's all good. This one came back up again here. There's a small bubble right there. Okay, I think I saw, yep, a couple of small ones here. Oh, that's where the 2 stone chips were. Forgot about those. See, it's good to remember certain things. There's a big bubble there. I don't know how I missed that one. Hear that one? If that was clear PPF, that would have really sucked. Okay, I heard another one there. Yep. Okay, let's dry it. Okay, other than the odd stone chip, and obviously swirl marks from squeegeeing, it looks really good. Especially those two bother me a lot, but whatever. I saw something up there. So when you do squeegee out those smaller bubbles, what you need to do is you need to take them and lead them all the way to an edge. You can't just like stop part way. It's not like vinyl wrap where you can just kind of push the bubble down and it just goes away. It's totally different than that. Okay, we have more here. It's lovely. I need some slip solution. You have to bring those all the way down. See, they're on this side. You can hear them. See that? You have to watch out for those body lines. Okay, let's check it now. Another one there. Okay, so other than the obvious there, but this one here is not so obvious maybe in the camera. That's got to go. The front, here, there. And this is basically done, and we can let it rest, but I want to make sure that we do get it tighter. Let's see if we can get that down a bit more. Nope. A little more slip. Let's go back here, see if we can get this pocket down. I don't want to retack the areas that have air in them because it's just going to wet it again, and then you're going to want it to dry a bit more again, and then you're just going to be fighting back and forth. That won't go down right now. Let's go to the other side, see if we can get that one. Thought I heard a bubble there, but I don't see one. Okay, that got better. Not perfect, but did get better. This is all good all the way to the end on this side. This side, not so much. Let's see. Yeah, it is actually. It's good all the way to the back edge here and here. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to stay yet. I see fluid here on this side as well. Somehow I missed it. Let's move and get this pocket, this little bubble out of here. Where'd it go now? Okay, it's over here. That's one reason why I don't like tacking like to the interior panel. It's because it traps. It doesn't help you get fluid out. It actually helps trap fluid. I just took a bubble the craziest way out. I took it all the way from there to there. That's where it wanted to go. Really interesting. Maybe one of the first time I've experienced that. Okay. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to let this dry and come back to it and finish up my edges and stuff. I'm gonna fix that up a little bit, but no point in having you sit here and wait to see, just playing the patience game. It can take that and probably even anchor it underneath if there's enough adhesive. Just get it to stick to something to hold it in place so that when it does dry, it dries tight, kind of like that, right? So came back a little bit, but better than it was, okay? So you can do stuff like that. This one's fine. This here, I can do the same thing. I can take it, pull it tight, wrap it underneath a bit. Just stick it to something. Same thing over here. Okay guys, I'm back. Not that it was long for you. Hopefully you're still here. I went and finished up the trunk area. I also put the car on ramps. It's gonna help with doing the side rocker panels and the front bumper. Obviously makes things a lot more accessible. Also puts them at a really nice angle and gets them away from the floor to prevent contamination from debris and so forth. My floor is super clean. I vacuum it, I mop it all the time, but you never know, dirt's gonna fall off the car. Either way, car's up in the air right now. We're gonna finish up the front ends or the hood, and we're gonna go over a few things here. So first of all, what we wanna do is we wanna go over our edges, because what happens a lot of times when you're squeegeeing, especially wet apply or even dry apply, is that when you get to body lines like this, for example, you kind of skip over top of them. So you miss air. So when I do this right now, I can feel my squeegee sort of jump from over here, like from this top edge to over top, and then kind of land here. Don't worry about the swirl marks and stuff like that. This can all heat out. This is PPF, okay? Also, it's smeared because we use baby shampoo or slip solution baby shampoo. So what we want to do is we want to go over our edges. We want to make sure that we take care of obviously these ones as we did before in the previous part of the video, making sure that there are no bubbles or fluid bubbles, air bubbles, or any bubbles at all left behind. Once we get to the edge, not a huge deal. Like there's a tiny one right here I can see. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop the film up just very slightly like that. And what I can do is I can use my thumb, or I could use my squeegee, whatever you want. We just want to make sure that these bubbles are not like interior side, because what happens is the more we lift the material up, or the further in to the panel that we lift the material up, we're going to see aggressive glue lines, lift lines, and so forth. We don't want that. We want the finish to come out looking as pure and as clean as possible. A lot of these glue lines / lift lines, they tend to go away over time, but you don't want your customer picking up the car and be like, hey, what's that line, or what are those lines there? Oh, they'll go away eventually, in a couple of weeks or whatever, depending on the temperature of the climate that you're in. But yeah, it can take some time, especially in cooler temperatures where it's winter time, especially we're going into winter here. So again, go over everything, make sure everything is good before we do any cutting, okay? This is very important. So I'm gonna just check out here, and you can run your finger over. You can usually feel a couple of tiny bubbles right there, a couple of small ones right here. Nothing along the back. I did have a little examination earlier. There's one small one right back here. Just get all that taken care of before you cut, because once you cut, it's going to be a lot more difficult to manage or manipulate the material where you need it, where you need to. When you're trying to deal with a 1/4 inch of material, because that's all you have left at your edge, yeah, it's going to be a little more difficult to manage. So leaving an excessive amount like this is important. It doesn't even have to be this much. It can be less. Like over here, I've cut some away. I created a relief cut. Oops, forgot to replace my blade. So we're going to trim even some of that back, and you can leave yourself just an inch or two. It doesn't matter. Like, as long as you leave enough to be able to handle. So we'll go across this back edge over here, make sure everything is good. The hood is also propped up on the box. That's fine. We're either going to want to open the door to access the back corners here. Might as well open the door, actually. It's probably easier than lifting the actual hood up. So let's open the other door. I could lift the hood up too. It'll move these corners away from the fender. Like here, let's just show you. That's not always the situation, especially on Audis, depending on which one you have. But a lot of Audis, in my experience, and Volkswagens, the corners actually dip down below the fenders, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to access. So this hood's actually super heavy. This car's entirely steel, other than the bumpers, obviously, and the plastics. But this car's actually entirely steel. So again, that can give us good access to our edges as well. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave the hood up this high, or if I do when I'm cutting and rolling around, I'm gonna make sure that I adjust the camera for you. I'm not gonna remove the camera over to this side because you're gonna see pretty much what's gonna happen on that side. But first off, again, we're gonna go over all our edges. I might prop the hood up just slightly higher. Not that high, but like this high. There we go. And that's gonna keep the corners away from the fender and so forth, or the back part of the hood away from the fender and so forth. Let's open this up over here. Cool, that gives you more access again. Good. So this is a very crucial part of things, because heat, and especially if you have tension at your edges, and there's possibly some tension at these edges here, nothing pulled back overnight, and usually if it's PPF, yeah, it's gonna pull back fairly quickly and pretty aggressively because it has a lot more elasticity to it. It's also thicker, so there's more resistance there. So it is gonna pull back more aggressively, definitely over a shorter period of time than like vinyl wrap, for example. Vinyl wrap will just kind of maintain its shape in cooler temperatures, while PPF will still start shifting and moving in cooler temperatures if there is enough tension there to cause movement and so forth. So let's go over our edges, and we're gonna go over with a reasonable amount of heat first. Nothing too crazy. We wanna warm and soften the material, and we're gonna start from the top side. And start rolling some of that around. Actually, I have a tiny, tiny bubble here. Another pro tip is do not pull the material while it's hot. You will tear it, I guarantee you. PPF tears very easily when it's hot. Not warm, it can tear when it's warm, but more like when it's hot. And you're gonna see all this when I move to the other side, but this is just how I have my system in place. Like I start on this side all the time. From the middle, I work around. I'm sure you've seen, those of you who have seen videos, you'll have seen all that. So heat is your best friend in getting the material into place and having it sit where you want it to and not move. So first I go over more gently with the heat, and then I go over more aggressively. So it's a minimum of 3 passes per edge. So when I say 3 passes per edge, what I'm talking about is like, so let's say from here to here, okay? It's a minimum of start one at the top, come a bit more down on an angle, and then perpendicular to the edge on the very last pass. You can go 25 passes if you want to. Again, being thorough is really good. Just don't need to really overkill it to that extent, because at a certain point you start wasting time. But being more thorough in the moment will prevent things from coming back, which will waste way more time, okay? So again, we're gonna lead with the heat gun and just get the material rolling around. Corner, let's just do this one here. You probably can't see too well from your angle here, but you'll see that one over there really well. I might be able to zoom into that. Digital might be a bit far. Let's actually zoom in more. So when I do digital zoom, you guys have a better view. Where are we? Here. There we go. Okay, so this corner here, hit it with a decent amount of heat and press firmly from the top and roll down. That's all you do. You don't stretch it, don't do anything. You're basically massaging the material around the corner. Just making sure, I'm just seeing where the material's sitting underneath here. It's rolling underneath because I pulled the material tightly across this edge, which is good. It's not a bad thing. Just wanted to make sure everything was good. Okay, so here, this corner here, and a little trick here is like, sometimes I heat it from the back side if I can, if I have access, and then I press from the top side down. Heating it from the back side, what it does is it causes the material to not fall down. So if I heat from this side, what happens is the material falls down prematurely before I'm sort of ready for it to fall down. If I heat from this side here, it keeps it sort of elevated, and then I can press it down when I'm ready, when I feel like there's enough heat there. I don't need to do that with the straight edges. You could if you really wanted to, but it's not that important. It's more important, I feel like, for the corners. I have a small crease, so I'm gonna wait for the material to cool slightly, because if I pull it, it will tear. Small crease, so it was right there. There we go. Okay, so this is like a bit of post-heating right now. It's not a huge amount of post-heating. We're just sort of finishing up the edges, making sure it's ready to be cut, ensuring there's no air, everything's locked in, it's all sealed up. And then the last tiny bubble there, I'm gonna come back to that once that cools. The last part of heating, the second part of this heating process is going to be, really laying in there with a solid amount of heats to hit a nice post-heat temperature. But I am still getting pretty hot right now with the temperature. I'd say I'm probably still hitting almost a couple hundred degrees Fahrenheit. So, and the thing with the material floating off of the edges like this is it heats up very quickly, so it doesn't take long for it to actually hit a post-heat temperature. Let's pop this up just slightly. There we go. Again, I waited for that to cool. I went over onto something else and waited for that to cool. So I'm not trying to roll the material around super far. You can if you want to. You can always wrap around about a 1/4 inch or so if you'd like. And we get in there with a nice amount of heat. There we go. Cool, and then come back around and then get these back corners here. These back corners here, not difficult at all. It's very similar to the front corner that I had shown you there. Just looking, okay. Now that that's done, stepping on some material. Okay, now that that's done, we could probably lift the hood up. Just how high? Let's go up with it. Actually, let's leave it down for a second because I prefer to cut the back edge when the hood is down like this. It's more accessible. I'm running my blade on the underside edge. Put a little tension on the material. You can see how I'm reaching it. Now, if you're right-handed, this side's awkward. I'm gonna put the door in just a bit, it's in my way. So the reason why I like to have the hood down for the cut on the backside over here is because if the hood goes up, we have to actually angle our blade like way up. And if you don't angle your blade up, you're gonna miss sections of the edge, and that will be exposed to the driver from the driver's seat or the passenger even. So we do want to make sure that we've got our hood on the appropriate angle. I just changed this blade up, but it's feeling dull. It's just that's PPF for you. Just no tension from that other angle there. It's a really awkward cut. Trying to get my hands on it. There we go, I got a piece. Just keeping that tiny bit of tension on the material makes a huge difference on how the material cuts. You'll see that more when I come around the front. I'll finish this up fairly quickly and then we'll move around towards you guys. Okay, I'm gonna cut that off. See, that's a fresh blade and it's tricky to cut the PPF still. Again, rolling around a bit more with PPF, I advise it. I don't, because I'm certain that I've post-heated and done my edges and so forth properly, where I have minimal to no tension. But if you're new to the material, it's not a bad idea to wrap around a little further, okay? Even when it comes to vinyl wrap, guys. Okay, so as I come around, I'm gonna elevate the hood so you can see better. So you can see how I take strides. Hopefully I'm in camera. Yeah, sort of. And I just kind of pivot as I go around. Okay, so I'm gonna come to about here. Let's trim this off so we don't have this. I use the center of the blade to cut that, right? Okay, so let's get the camera, let's see, up maybe. Let's get the hood up. Yeah, I could probably, and it actually sits there really nicely. Let's just go a tiny bit higher with this. Oh, the battery on the camera is gonna die soon, that's okay. Oops. Okay, so I'll pay attention to that. Okay, so I'm gonna try and stay out of your way. What I'm doing here is I'm gonna take nice long strides and pull the material, if the hood wasn't moving, pull the material down and away. I'm doing this for the sake of you guys right now, trying to keep this in a position where you can see well or better. Now, you saw from the top side there, I'm gonna show you more from the bottom side now, okay, and what I was doing. I have to fix that up a little bit because the hood shifted. But let's go just a tiny bit higher with that. All right, cool. It's too high for me. So let's bring that down. I'm gonna hold it in place. And this is more from the bottom side now, okay? So take your time coming around the corners. Pivot really nicely. There we go. I'm gonna shift myself so I can do a nice long pass right now. There we go. Tension first, then you cut. And then we're gonna try and make it to that corner there. Perfect, okay? Now, let's come back down so we can get the side of the hood right there, I believe. So I've got the hood pretty much vertical at this point. This hood really goes high up. I guess I also have it on ramps. All right, so there we go. Nice clean line coming all the way down and around. Again, same thing, we're gonna take our time coming around our corners. Put a little tension always. And a lot of times what I do is I cut, you saw that, I cut this way to the corner and then I cut this way to the corner. Or you can come from the inside out, totally up to you. Now, the hood is too high up for me to actually cut the back edge here, so we'll have to put the hood back down. Not sure if I'll have to adjust the camera for that, I don't think so. This is not done yet, okay, like minus the cutting. We still have heating to do. Okay, let's go back up. The material got tucked in underneath here accidentally. There we go, and I need to be able to hold it. Cool, let's put that back down now. Let's put the door in a bit. It's better. Okay, I'm gonna put some tension. This side's easier if you're right-handed. It'll be more tricky if you're left-handed. We're all on camera, yep. Cool. Let's come in here. Again, I'm pushing down on the material with my left hand and coming around that corner, super flush to the bottom of the corner, actually, like as you saw in the front there. That prevents wrinkles or bottle capping, actually. That combined with adding an ample amount of heat to massage the material around will pretty much eliminate any bottle capping at the corners on most corners. Okay. That's done. We're going to shift the camera over slightly because I'm going to start on the other side over there. Not that you're going to be able to see a whole lot, but we're going to now heat again. So we heat, we roll, we cut, and then we heat again. So heat, cut, heat. That's my process. We're going to be generous with the heat, not too much at first. We want to get that edge down, make sure it's nice and tight first, and then we can be a lot more generous once that edge is down. You can see I'm going a lot slower, point blank, within 1 to 2 inches with the heat gun. The heat gun's rated at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit from that distance at max temp. Okay, and before I lift the hood up, because I'm going to have to, it's going to be easier, might as well come around to this side over here. Now, normally I don't do this, but for the sake of the camera, you're not having to move things again. I'm gonna do this part first at the back. Okay, now a little slower with the heat. This is our post heat right now, okay? This is locking it in. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is elevate the hood, and that's gonna give me much better access to the back corners here. And it's also gonna move the hood away from the trims. You can even hit from this side, okay? Okay, I'm gonna go back to the other side, because again, that's how I normally do things. And I'll work my way across to the driver's side. Get in there with a decent amount of heat. Okay, so I'm pretty good at this point. Let's move the camera again higher. I can probably leave it there. Yep, that should be fine. I'm gonna go over everything with heat. So initial pass, a little faster with the heat gun, and then the second pass, much slower. I really actually put emphasis on the corners and anywhere that I believe that there might be tension, okay? I'm like half an inch to an inch away. Will not damage anything as far as this goes, as long as you keep your heat gun moving, okay? Okay, so same thing here. Tough to reach with the hood all the way up, but it's just because it's on the ramps. So get that initial pass with heat first, get that edge down just in case it was elevated. Because again, if we heat the material at the edge too hot, when the edge is still up, then you have a chance of your glove getting stuck to it. And then what happens is you crease it, okay? Not the end of the world, since we're pretty much past the edge already, but just to prevent having to fix anything, because it can be annoying. And really a lot of emphasis here, because I know that I did pull to that side a lot, and say it would be the same thing on the other side here. So a little faster here again, and then let's get on under there, and don't watch out for your rubber trims. You can remove these if you want to. They usually come off pretty easily. But the rubber trim will not burn as quickly as the material will, so I'm not stressed out about it as long as I keep the heat gun moving. Still stepping on the material, there we go. Okay, so the same thing here. Initial pass with heat. Still on camera, good. Okay. So this is kind of like where I treat it like a vinyl wrap, like when I'm rolling around the edges. It's more or less the exact same thing that I do. And I'm pretty much just as thorough with vinyl wrap as I am with PPF. Okay, again, I know I have tension. Well, I know that I did pull to that edge, so I'm ensuring that I'm being a little more thorough with the post heat. And I'll bring you in for a closer look once this is done. We're almost done. If you cut this close to the edge and you do not post heat like this with PPF, it will flip up. It'll just, even if you have no tension, it will just kind of lift up. So you have to be this thorough with your edges and your heating when you are doing it. So again, now you can see, like from the underside there, how clean the edge is. It's like a blue edge that just kind of disappears, and you don't see it like wrapping really far underneath. A lot of customers and people enjoy that part of things because it just disappears. I call it my invisible edge, but again, there is risk involved if you're not thorough and if you don't have the right amount of, if you have too much tension and if you don't have the right amount of post heating. Let's get this down. And what I want to show you is cleaning up some of the swirl marks. So, I mean, I hope this shows in the camera. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wipe that off a little bit. And I'll do a bit of an area because maybe the camera angle is gonna show it like over here versus where I can see it's like more over here. But we'll do an area, okay? So again, we have swirl marks, undoubtedly, because we have used a hard edge of our squeegee. And actually, maybe I can get zoomed in more. That might show better. So I'm hoping that some swirl marks will show in this vicinity here. And I'm not gonna post heat the whole hood right now, or sorry, go over. You can use steam. It's much more effective, way faster. But just to show you with the heat gun. So these all went away just now. I'm gonna move around so that you can see. I'll even go over here because that might, oh, that's not even on camera. Let's go over here. It comes out looking like crystal clear. All the scratches that we put in it, you don't even have to worry about it anymore. So I'm hoping that something, like I said, will show up on the camera for you guys. I can't see much from my angle over here. You can see over there. They're just going away. I mean, it's gonna take me, what, 5 minutes to go over the whole hood, I guess, with a heat gun. It'll take 2 minutes to go over with steam. I'm just using the heat gun right now because I have it right here. It's way easier. But now it truly turns out like 100% pure and no swirl marks anymore at all. With that, in this case, blue glass like mirror finish. Beautiful. That's all perfect from there to there, basically. Obviously, I have to heat the rest of it so that, you know, when a customer picks it up, it's not like, oh, why is that area so nice and the rest of it has scratches on it? Move the camera back, sorry. Guys, and that's pretty much the hood wrapped in a nutshell. Again, this was a difficult hood to do. It's not even like the shape of it is hard, it's the size. Again, if I could get this in 72 inches, yeah, would have been wonderful because you can get that in clear. And even in vinyl wrap, it would have been easier actually because vinyl wrap, we can tack it to the exterior better. It's gonna lock in just faster right away. And we can heat it and stretch it a little bit further if we need to than PPF. The PPF is pretty limiting. Like we get about 20 to 30% stretch overall, and going any more than that, it's not good. But like that's like the max is what I'm saying. Like with vinyl wrap, you can max it out like past 100%, like double the length of the piece of material. Not advised, but you know, because it will change the color and so forth. But when you go to that level or that extent with PPF, what happens is you actually crack the finish. Or you just damage the color and whatever else, like, or it just tears. Like, so PPF is much more vulnerable when it comes to that amount of stretch. So there is more resistance there when there is time to come and stretch something like this. Again, we had very minor amount at the very front of the hood here. Even if I had the hood down all the way, like I do now, it's not lashed yet, but I wouldn't have been able to mount it to the bumper or anchor it to the bumper. We had to anchor it here instead, so I did have to put some tack in there and anchor it there. I didn't get a pole line, which is nice, like a lift line, glute line, pole line, whatever you want to call it a pole line, because I'll be pulling from this edge to those corners over there. But you know, it turned out good. As long as you don't wait too long and you move at a fairly rapid pace or a fluent pace, you're not going to really get those lines in the material. Again, if you can see maybe swirl marks or scratches from where you are right now, like I just can get in here and it's still a little smeared. I didn't wipe the whole hood yet, but get in there and then just heat out all these. Again, just use steam. It's way faster, hot water, whatever. It's way faster. It's also safer as long as you don't pour it on yourself. Again, I'm not sure if that even showed on the camera for you guys, but that whole section is nice and crystal clear right now. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them below. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you for watching as always. I appreciate it. Take care.